It's a fair and increasingly asked question. Was President Joe Biden truly in charge? Or was someone else calling the shots behind the scenes? Despite his election to the highest office in the land, many Americans on both sides of the aisle have expressed doubts about whether President Biden had the mental sharpness and leadership stamina needed to fulfill the role effectively. These concerns weren't just political jabs. They were driven by carefully managed public appearances, verbal slips, limited press access, and growing dependence on staff. But before we go further, let's clear something up. It's not about age, it's about ability. A lot of critics point to Biden's age, and that's where we need to pause. Age by itself is not and should never be the deciding factor when judging a person's competence. There are people well into their 80s and beyond, business leaders, scientists, judges, and everyday citizens who remain sharp as a tack and incredibly effective. Some even gain wisdom, patience, and better decision-making skills with time. So no, the concern isn't that Joe Biden was too old. The concern was whether he, as an individual, was able to function at the level demanded by the office, regardless of age. If a 45-year-old president showed the same signs of mental fog, scripted dependency, and limited unscripted interactions, we'd ask the same questions, and we should. So who did run the show? The modern presidency is never a solo act, and in Biden's case, it often felt more like a committee-led administration. Key individuals and groups that exercised outsized influence include Ron Klain, often referred to as the Prime Minister behind Biden; Jeff Zients, known for his managerial skills and White House coordination; Susan Rice, a powerful behind-the-scenes figure until her departure; Jake Sullivan, architect of many foreign policy decisions; a network of Obama-era veterans who returned to staff and influence the administration. Some critics called it Obama 3.0, not because Obama was pulling strings directly, there's no confirmed evidence of that, but because his former team largely filled the seats of power. Even Vice President Kamala Harris, often promoted during the campaign as a co-leader, appeared largely sidelined from major decisions. Why this matters? In a democracy, we elect individuals, not a nameless support team. If a president functions primarily as a figurehead while unelected advisors handle policy, diplomacy, and domestic affairs, voters are left in the dark about who's really steering the ship. That's not ageism. That's accountability. And now, more and more leaks, insider accounts, and behind-the-scenes revelations continue to emerge, suggesting that Biden's leadership role was often more ceremonial than operational. Staff controlled his schedule, media access was tightly managed, and major decisions were filtered through layers of handlers. This isn't just about politics, it's about trust. Americans deserve to know, is the person in the Oval Office actually doing the job? Final thoughts. Let's stop pretending age automatically disqualifies someone from leadership. Let's also stop ignoring the red flags when any leader of any age is propped up by a machine of advisors doing the real work behind the scenes. So, who ran the country while Biden was president? By all honest accounts, a well-orchestrated support staff, and not always the man with the title. Stay safe, stay secure, and realize that things can only get better. They certainly can't get any worse than they were. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye, and thanks for reading, watching, and listening.